using the standards of evaluation in the Media Pluralism Monitor, I can say that the assessment this year actually detected three basic risks to media pluralism. One is criminalization of defamation and with this regard the high protection of public officials. Also, I have to mention a high level of concentration of media ownership, which is the continuing feature of media market in Poland. And finally, the lack of independence, political independence of public service media, in particular as regards governance of public service media, but also performance.
We have a long-established issue of concentration of ownership both within media markets and across media markets, and that has been made more acute, I think, by the ongoing financial difficulties that legacy media in particular have found themselves in. So that's a key issue. The other major one, I guess, relates to minority access to media in Ireland. It's largely absent outside the Irish language-speaking community.
The role of intermediaries is twofold. On the one hand, they certainly provide alternative platforms for new content providers and producers of the content. For instance, we can mention in Poland a rise of political satire contents. On the other hand, there is certainly a risk of widespread fake news in the intermediaries or by intermediaries.
It comes back to revenue here. Whilst legacy media have seen a consistent decline in their advertising, there is commercial revenues since about 2008. The one area which is going up is online media. Facebook and Google probably account for 70% of that in Ireland. So you've got media budgets basically going away from legacy media towards basically contentless social media brands.
The development of online digital services is obviously an enormous opportunity. It's created new voices, it's brought in new players into the system, but it's also led to, again, a shift in the allocation of resources. I think alongside that, there's the concern about trust and reliability. A lot of material online is not properly verified, and I think concerns about fake news brings into question the standards and reliability even of traditional media.
Freedom of media, freedom of expression have been taken for granted for a long time. I think this is the moment to stress again, emphasize again, freedom of expression as an important fundamental value, and any legal considerations or regulatory considerations should take into account the basic question: does this contribute to enabling environment for freedom of expression?
International bodies have played an extremely important role in the past in both identifying standards in this field and also monitoring it. But I think going forward, they're going to have to play a particularly important role because the ability for companies to relocate, and just as we have tax havens, we could possibly see media havens where companies are avoiding any form of effective controls. I think also alongside that, we need to think about effective media ownership controls, and that may need independent regulators, and I think the interest of the EU in supporting independent regulators is key, and I think the international community can also support developments to ensure transparency of media ownership as well.
I think there's a role here for local regulators, both the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland and the Competition Authority, to step in to mandate minority access to media, but also to make the existing competition rules and rules on concentration of ownership meaningfully apply.
In the past few years, the Media Pluralism Monitor has become a very important instrument to understand the status and health of our media and their ability to contribute to the democratic debate in our societies. The Monitor is an instrument that works for the European member states, but also beyond Europe, has been adopted in other countries, and is becoming a reference point for the evaluation of media pluralism and also media freedom. The Monitor is also trying to adapt to the changing environment that the digital revolution is creating, and to the pressure that this is imposing on the media, on their viability, on their future.